watching the tide roll away, just sitting on a dock of the bay, wasting time.
Maritime Matters is brought to you live by Bahamas Maritime Connection.
What is maritime?
Maritime, simply put, relates to navigation or commerce on the high seas.
Some say money makes the world go round. I say ships move the money that make the world move.
Who navigates those large international ships?
How often are international ships required to be surveyed and inspected?
Maritime also protects our seas and borders by way of our local Bahamas Defense
It
Force.
is very sad to say that out of 1,500 plus ships that are registered under the Bahamian flag, only a very small amount of Bahamians are employed.
Maritime Matters.
Pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Maritime Matters. I am your host, Captain Glenn Bain. This is still the month of May, people. The month that we suffered our most tragic maritime event in the history of our country. The bombing destruction of HMBS Flamingo. So please, listen in. Listen in as we engage discussions on this most sobering maritime matter topic. The bombing of HMBS Flamingo. The 4 Marines that were killed in the process. The 4 crew members that passed away since that incident. And the burden that the 11 surviving crewmen continue to endure in the aftermath of that tragedy. We're going to learn from our distinguished guest tonight his bird's eye view details of that tragic unfolding, from the beginning of Flamingo's deadly voyage to her eventual destruction by the Cuban MiG fighter jets. So buckle up, folks, and join us on this humbling and most informative revelation into HMBS Flamingo, her final voyage. Shout out to my Ari, my number 1 fan, Annie May, up there in Freeport, 90 years and rocking steady. Annie May, good night to you, and thank you for listening to Maritime Matters. You know you're my number 1 fan. Our sponsors for the night show are One-on-One Pharmacy. Listen, people, you want good treatment when you need medication? Check out my little cousin Shantia McBride and her lovely team at One-on-One Pharmacy. Fill your prescription at the store or send your online refills via oneononepharmacy.com. The 2 locations, East Street South, Charles Sanders Highway. As you know, there's a 3rd location now in Freeport. That one is known as Island Care. So you go to Island Care and you just do your thing. They're there to take care of you. They will give you the best treatment in the world. They're a little small, but they got everything you will want. Trust me on that. We are also sponsored by Bahamas Maritime Connection Limited. We provide a full slate of ISPS maritime security services, port facility security assessments, port facility security plans, annual verification audits, ISPS trainings, consultancy, etc. You're listening to Maritime Matters, people. On this show, we talk maritime. Maritime Matters airs weekly at 19:30 every Tuesday here on Love 97 FM. The purpose of our show is to highlight persons that made significant contributions to maritime in the Bahamas and to sensitize Bahamians of opportunities in the maritime sector. We also cover current maritime issues from a domestic perspective and from an international maritime feed. Tonight, we are dealing with HMBS Flamingo. We got a packed show, people. You're going to love this one. Halfway through the show, we will open the phone lines. I ain't sure how soon that could be, because boy, me and my guests have plenty talking to do. We are still in the month of May, as I said earlier. As May 10th continue to dwindle in our wake, our most important maritime heroes remain all 19 of the devastated crew members of HMBS Flamingo on that fatal final voyage. And as we glance into the 43rd anniversary of the bombing of HMBS Flamingo, in honor of the men that had to bear this tragic incident, here is the most eloquent poem written and narrated by my good friend and colleague, Captain Godfrey Roll, as he so succinctly summarized the occurrence. For Love of Country by Godfrey Roll.
For Love of Country, Flamingo's Last Voyage. The sun is shining, oh what a lovely day, as the balmy breezes over the waters do play. HMBS Flamingo and crew are now eager to sail. We have our duties to perform, and we shall not fail. There are arms and victuals and water enough. Our good ship is ready, be the seas calm or rough. So away from Coral Harbor we did slip. Ah, no one knew we'd be seeing the last of our ship. Throttles are engaged, engines put in gear. We have a long way to go, let's get out of here. Flamingo has been assigned a southern patrol, sailing under the command of Commander Amos Rowe. See the young crew members all lining the deck. The rolling seas have such a soothing effect. Oh, brave young man, do you not know what evil winds your way doth blow? An anchorage is sought for the night at Green Key. For the wind have come up, the ship must seek lee. Some crew members tell tales to pass away the time, while others on deck cast out fishing lines. Morning has come and anchor is weighed. The first lieutenant's orders have been swiftly obeyed. Flamingo once again turns her bow to the south, as a course is laid on for Blossom Channel's mouth. The ship is abuzz and spirits are high. We all feel as one with the ocean and sky. Through the channel we go, down the Ragged Island chain, through gin-clear waters. What an ethereal scene. Now a few days have passed, lazy and slow. Flamingo for fuel to Inago must go. Refueled, she's again ready to hit the banks. There's great anticipation from men of all ranks. Today, this will be our lucky day. An arrest, no doubt, will come our way. Lookouts are stationed all around the ship, while the raider man watches for that elusive blip. We're again off Ragged Island, combing the banks. We love our jobs and need no special thanks. To serve our country is all that we ask. Brave young Bahamian men, fully committed to a task. This day is Sunday, the 10th of May. Oh, gloomy, dreadful, fateful day. Would to God you could forever be wiped away. Weary is my soul from the weights upon it lay. I have a contact, the radar watch shouts. It's 5 miles away and bearing due south. The skipper is summoned out of his cabin, while Flamingo leaps ahead as more power is given. The boarding party, all assembled, is standing by, all fully equipped, weapons pointing to the sky. Go forth, brave souls, your duty calls. Stand tall, each one, whatever befalls. As mighty Flamingo steams nearer and nearer, the contact we see grows clearer and clearer, until by the light of the blazing sun we could see a fishing vessel from some foreign country. A feeling of joy now descends on the crew, for what we first thought was one is now confirmed as two. 2 arrests now instead of 1 to be made. 2 arrests will now to our credit be laid. Both vessels are now fully in our possession. We've only to wait for the crew's confession. All in all, it has been a productive day, and very soon we'll begin again to be underway. Hark there, fellow Marines, from whence comes that sound that seems to permeate the air all around? Wait, look over yonder, look to the sky. Are they not military aircraft that pass us by? Look again, my mates, they are coming around, flying low over the waters with a thunderous sound. Can someone tell what is the meaning of this? Will fear now overtake our early bliss? O brave young men, strong Bahamian sons, your time has come to face hostile guns. This day will be recorded in our Defense Force story as the day young Bahamian sailors achieved eternal glory. Captain, my captain, we are now under attack. Those aircraft which first passed have now come back. See the bullets now piercing Flamingo's sleek side. What shall we do? There's no place to hide. The crew is assembled and Coral Harbor Base is now told of these tragic events as they continue to unfold. Alas, we must now abandon our ship, and soon under the waves she began to slip. Captain, look over there. They're now shooting in the water. Surely they intend our young men to slaughter. I hear even now a sailor's pitiful cry. Oh Lord, I'm hit. Please don't let me die. The aircrafts at last have gone away, leaving strong young men in shock and dismay. And as some semblance of order is brought to the scene, we cannot account for 4 brave young Marines. Austin Smith, Fenwick Stirrup, Edward Williams, and David Tucker. Wherever you may be, may your soul find sweet succor. You've served your shipmates and country for many long years, and many will be the days of your memories with tears. O Bahamian mothers, on this Mother's Day, I pray that God wipes your tears away. Your sons have gone down into the deep, but our God in heaven their souls will keep. And now in their honor, young Bahamians strong and free step forth with pride to save their country. So to the survivors of Flamingo and to those heroes who died, a grateful nation gives it thanks, and pray God be your guide.
Friend, my brother, colleague, Captain Godfrey Gordon Roll. How sobering is that, ladies and gentlemen? We're talking maritime, and tonight we're talking HMBS Flamingo. A bird's eye view from one of the crewmen that survived that awful devastation. Welcome back to Maritime Matters. You know, during the 42nd anniversary ceremony last year, the acting Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister I. Chester Cooper, gave a very moving speech. I held on to the part when he advised that next year, during the country's 50th independence anniversary, the 43rd memorial service shall be a grander event. And of course, they had that 43rd service downtown in Rawson Square. And yes, it was a grand occasion. And that was done in light of the dedication and honor displayed by the Flamingo crew while under attack. The DPM advised that there will be a more extensive recognition granted. But, unfortunately, people, there was no mention of reparations being paid out. Is this so hard to consider? How long? How long should these men carry on with their impacted lives in hopes that there might someday be some form of compensation for what they had to endure over the past 42 years? How long, I ask? It's been 43 years and counting, Bahamas. How long? I ask. I say reparation now, people. Reparation grant now. Hey, enough talk, man. Enough talk. A few short years ago, we found funding of over $200 million for patrol boats and harbor dredging to facilitate those vessels. That was fine, and that was duly needed. But so was the reparations for those men that suffered that awful attack on May 10th, 1980. They should share at least $100 million among them. But we are suggesting a reduction, only $65 million we're asking for the suffering over the past 43 years, for the ultimate sacrifice that they paid on that fateful day, and for the sake of good conscience. My dear listening audience out there, With me tonight is a man with a soldier's heart. A brave patriot, one that stood tall amidst the crew members of the HMBS Flamingo during that vicious bombardment. I bring to you a Marine that, in the face of adversity and chaos, stared death dead in the eyes and said, "It ain't happening today, death." A soldier that stampeded his way to the mountaintop, body slammed the booty down and gobbled down the building up. I introduce to you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the illustrious retired Chief Petty Officer EUGENE Blue Thompson. Blue, welcome to Maritime Matters, my friend.
Thank you very much, sir.
So good to have you. You know, we've been talking for this from last year sometime. Didn't quite get you here. But, you know, we have a lot to talk about tonight, as you know. You could just relax as we do this. I got this. I got everything covered for you.
Yes.
So you just relax yourself. And I want to start with a roll call. And while we call the names of those 19, that, including yourself, that were on that ship when this incident took place, you can just give me a little what you remember of each person. We'll start off with Austin Smith, for example. Because what we're going to do, before you even talk with Brother Austin, what we intend to do is that Coral Harbor roundabout. Those 4 roads leading from that roundabout are going to be the 4 names of the men that got killed during that impact. Mm-hmm. And the one that we're going to name after Austin Smith is the Coral Harbor North that goes to the airport.
To the airport.
From the roundabout to the airport, that whatever that they call that Coral Harbor Road North now, that's going to be Austin Smith Road.
The Coral Harbor North.
From the roundabout toward the airport, that's going to be Austin Smith Road.
Okay.
So what do you recall of Austin Smith?
I really, good evening, Bahamas. My apologies.
Go ahead, my brother.
Thank you very much for having me.
What did he look like? Short, tall?
He was a short fellow.
Short
he was living, I really didn't get much contact with him.
Okay.
But he was living, like, once you turn off, heading to Blue Road South, and you turn off onto Soldier Road.
Right.
Right?
Uh-huh.
His house, the pink house is right there.
Oh, right on Soldier Road, on the corner then there, Blue Road.
Yeah, right there.
Okay,
but
right.
I don't really remember him vividly like that.
You and him wasn't personal friends, but
No,
you knew him.
Yeah,
so did you sail with him prior to that?
No.
Oh, that was your first time sailing with him?
Yeah, that's my first
And
time.
I want the audience to know that you was not an assigned crew member of the HMBS Flamingo.
No, I was not.
You was assigned to the Andros, as you told me.
Andros.
You was Andros. You was not only assigned to the Andros, but you was preparing the Andros the day before.
I was prepared
for inspection.
For inspection. That was my boat.
Because Andros always had those shiny brass. I remember Andros very well when he first came back. In a boat could look better than Andros.
That's the cleanest boat.
Yeah.
In the fleet.
Right. So you was preparing the Andros for inspection, and then you were grabbed to go to sea, or how did that happen?
It happened that Flamingo just came back from sea.
He just returned from sea.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And they was the original.
So the crew was off.
Yeah, they was off.
Oh, so they needed people.
They needed people. They got a crew before that.
Right.
And they went out to sea.
Mm-hmm.
My good friend, Stafford Knowles.
Right.
He said, "Man, I can't go back to sea."
Oh. He was an engineer?
He was an engineer.
Oh, okay. So you went in his place?
So.
Well, he was grabbed. Darby Allen?
No, it was Duncan.
Oh, David Duncan. Oh.
He kept saying, "Oh, you gotta go." I said, "Man, don't forget now. Hold on. My boat is an inspection. You all say, dope, what do you do?" So, you say you have to go, so
you didn't have a choice, yeah.
I went home. I mean, I think it was get some clothes.
Okay.
And I went out.
Right. So, but David Duncan would have been the first chief petty officer at the time.
Yes, he was
the master at arms.
Master at arms.
Oh, he was. Yeah. Once he tell you go in, that means you gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah. God bless his soul.
I fought that, right?
Yeah, but
I said
you wasn't nobody to play with. Okay.
I thought that.
So
but
that's how
he
you
said
ended
like
up going on board
Yes,
that
yes.
trip. Do you think Austin Smith was a crew member of the Marlin at the time, or he was also somebody who was just making that trip?
I can't
You
say.
don't know for sure.
I can't say it offhand.
Okay. So you and him wouldn't have been in the same entry.
No, man, I'm in entry 2.
Right, and he was like
I don't
7
know.
or 8.
I
6
can't
or
remember
7.
what entry you said.
Okay, but you wouldn't have, yeah. What about Fenric Sturb? You should know him a little better because he was
Oh yeah,
more senior.
Fenric Sturb. He
Were you two in the same entry? You
no,
and Fenric?
he's in 3rd.
Oh, he was right after you.
Yeah,
You would have been in
third.
entry 2.
And he's to drive the bus.
Oh, he's a bus
He's
driver.
the bus driver.
So he was in original crew Marlin either.
Neither.
I mean the Flamingo correction.
No.
Oh.
He was a man that could be how you know when it comes to dropping home on the bus and all, we used to have plenty route.
Oh, because he was the driver, so you was the guest, the bus he drive.
I had to go by Bahamas Academy, and sometimes he cut out this, he cut out this.
Oh, trying to shortcut you.
Yeah. We're very good friends, so.
Yeah, so on the trip, you would have seen him all the time backing up, because it was only 19 of you all on 103-foot craft. Yeah, I know it was a makeup crew. So he wasn't. So you was one of the persons they took because the crew was off, and Fenric was also not. He wasn't assigned. He was a bus driver, like you say.
I can't say that.
Okay,
but I know David Tucker. David Tucker.
Yeah, David.
He was
Tucker.
the gunner, so I think.
So he was assigned. Right.
He was assigned
to know that 20 millimeter. You had to be assigned to that ship. That's
so,
only 2 ships had 20 millimeters.
Yeah.
Marlin and Flamingo.
I can't say
who
was
all
on
was,
the boat, but
right.
I know when they assigned me that we went out. Because he had, I'll be honest with you, I was in the one there.
Yeah.
For me, I was in the one there, but I can't say who I was.
Originally part of the crew.
Yeah.
Right. I understand that. So Fenric Sturb, what did he look like?
Fenric Sturb was
tall, short.
No, he was my height.
Oh, okay, not just
dark,
height.
but he was sort of dark.
Oh, dark. Right? Yeah. All right. And he was already able seaman, so he.
No, I think he do rank me.
No, I'm saying according to he was the only able seaman of the 4 that died on the impact. So he was already able seaman. Probably just before they made that trip, they made him able seaman. But I know he was the only able seaman. The rest was marine seaman.
I can't recall that, right?
Right.
But
yeah. But what we're gonna do is Fenric Sturb. We're going to name Carmichael Road Fenric Sturb Road. Again, from that roundabout, all the way up to as far as they wanted to go, whether they wanted to go Gladstone Road or they wanted to go all the way to Blue Hill Road, that's going to now be Fenric Sturb Road. Okay. And at that roundabout, we're going to have a big replica of the Flamingo with all the crew names, with the 4 men facing their street. And all. That's what I am proposing, and that's what we are pushing for.
Okay, that's very good, because I have a problem with what they done with the craft that they rename after them.
Yeah, they were old vessels.
What's the name? Vesco? Not a Vesco. What's his name? Carol Boyd. What's her name?
Hallett. Carol Boyd.
She tell them do not take those boats.
Right, and they still took them and
put them, and they know they was in these boats. These boats, and then she was 60, 70 years old.
Yeah, but we can look forward. We can find some new boats to put their names on. They say finish. Not just a first lap for them. They can get some streets, and when we get bigger boats and newer boats, they're gonna get those 4, right?
Yeah.
And then every one of you all gonna have to have a boat. Not only them 4, because every one of you all suffered that incident. Right? Sure. Now, David Tucker, you say, was the gunner.
No, David Tucker was the gunner.
He could handle 20 millimeters. What did he look like? What David Tucker? He was dark as well.
See, me and Tucker went to college together.
Oh, so you knew him pretty well. Was he an engineer or he was in college doing something else?
He was just a marine seaman, and then he went into, but...
all that.
Yeah. Because we went to college. He loved to play basketball.
Okay.
And 1 or 2 times I went to his house, his home in Homestead.
Oh, in Florida?
No, Homestead Street, right?
Oh, Homestead Street. Okay.
St. Manuel's
graveyard? Right.
Right across there.
Okay. He's living right in that area.
Yeah, he's right there.
Okay, that's good, man.
You see?
And what about Edward Williams? He would be the 4th person.
Edward Williams... I did not know him very well.
Okay.
But I know his brother, Vogel.
Oh, okay.
Vogel
okay.
taught me some baseball and stuff back in the day.
Someone tell me you used to play baseball. You was a good baseball player.
I was
You
good
played
at-
baseball.
I played baseball.
No, at the last show when I mentioned your name, one of my callers called in and asked if you were the EUGENE Blue Thompson who used to play baseball. I say I don't know, but maybe.
I played baseball, but they had EUGENE Sucky Thompson.
Oh, that's the real EUGENE Thompson.
He might have been a real, but he's a sucky.
Yeah. What I mean is he was the softball. He was more into playing baseball and softball.
Yeah, but I played everything.
You played every day.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I came up through a lot of. Came up through a lot of the good players and coaches.
Yeah. Okay, very good. So we got David Tucker. We're gonna name that road leading to the base since he was the big gunner. We're gonna that road from Coral Harbor roundabout to Coral Harbor base. We're gonna name that David Tucker Road, and Edward Williams is gonna get Adelaide Road that lead from the roundabout
Go back
up to Frank Hanna, Frank Watson Highway,
yes.
Albany, all those. We're gonna name that one after Edward. So all four of them would be circling that. Every street leading from that to and from the roundabout will be those four.
You see, the problem is that I don't want to interrupt what you were saying, but these boats and all that, what they name after that, they didn't last long.
Yeah, that's the
And I
first.
don't
But
think-
that's the
I
first
don't
round.
think
That
yeah.
we got some more. We got some brand new boats we can name. After defense force ain't gonna stop buying boats, so we can make sure that they get a just due. I don't want to take nothing from the people who name they put on this batch they just got. But the next batch, it could be those four, and every single one after that could be one of you guys. The Flamingo needs. I mean, that's our biggest history in this country in my lifetime. We need to make sure that comes out the way it should. Now, we had four that subsequently passed on blue. We had the first one would have been Cool Breeze, Wilfred Sands.
Yeah,
He was an acting sub-lieutenant on a trip, I think.
Yeah, we didn't know when he died. Or, I don't know.
Well, he was no longer in the job. I only heard that he passed.
I think he died in the first. I
years
realized
later.
later in life that he was my family.
Oh, that's actually one of your family members. So yeah, he was on the board the vessel. You don't remember anything in particular of him. How well did you know him? I mean, you didn't know he was a family back then, so you didn't engage him too much because, like you said, that wasn't really your vessel. Now we had Oscar Dusty Miller, who died after him. Now you would have been working directly with Dusty.
That's my boy.
That's your boy. So what I recall,
he was the chief engineer.
Dusty was the chief engineer on that voyage.
He was the chief engineer.
Right.
And he, prior to that, we played ball together.
Oh, I didn't know. Oscar, yeah, because he's from Manchester. He's in
we played softball together.
Right.
And if I tell you something, you won't believe it. That man has done such a tremendous job for the defense force.
Oh yeah.
People don't realize it.
Yeah. But even when you was on that doing that incident, based on some of the stuff I read, the Cuban fellas dismantled the steering. They took the steering pin out and dropped it in the bilge. And Dusty was the one to find that steering pin. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to steer that boat out of where it was.
Yes.
He's the one to find that, and he after Amos Roll would have ordered the darkened ship, he would be the one that realized that you need to see the compass. So he was smoking cigarettes.
He smoked but two or three cartons
of cigarettes.
To get to
just for you could see the compass and keep steering
north. The island stern.
Yes.
To get to Key San Domingo.
And after that to Ragged Island.
To Ragged Island.
That is correct. So Dusty Miller was a key component to the survival of the ones who left.
Yes, he's very so much so.
And then we have my good friend Leopold Kirby, Leo.
Yeah.
I think Leo was a cook at the time, or at least that's a seaman at the time.
I think it was. I think the cook was Sanders.
Right. Anthony Sanders, yeah.
Billet Sanders.
Yes, yeah, Billet. He was the cook, that's right. He was a good cook too, because I went out to see with him as a cook. Boy, he could cook some peas and rice. I'm telling you, I don't know how to cook. Used to go to see him cook peas and rice as good as him.
That was a good cook.
That's
all I can say. That was Andrews Fells.
Indeed. So you remember Leopold? I mean, we would have all. I would have gotten to know some of these because I didn't join the job till 81.
Yeah.
Which was a year after the incident, and I went off to that and didn't come back till April of 82. So I didn't really get to know people in the defense force who I didn't know already until 2 years later. But Leopold, Oscar, all of these four that died afterwards so far, I knew very well, and you and everybody else, because I was in the defense force for all the years after, and you guys were still around. So Kirby was a very good friend of mine. We played basketball a lot together. He sailed with me on the Yellow Elder as a cook for many years. Same thing with the Marlin. And then, of course, the fourth person would be the Führer himself, Amos Roll. He passed. He was the last one that passed, and I hope no one passed no time soon because most of you all are young fellas. But Amos Roll, I have him chalked up in my book as the best captain the defense force I've ever had. People can argue that.
Yes.
But I have him chalked up, and there's a reason why. Because I was told, right? And Amos and I didn't get to know him because he was far senior me. Right? When I came back, he was a 3-wing commander. So, but my understanding is that all the crew wanted to sail with Amos. There was, because a lot of people is duck sailing when they're on these boats. I don't want to see you. I like him. Amos was one of the most, and the crew followed Amos. And you know what leadership is, right, Blue? Leadership is when you can get the man at the bottom to willingly perform.
Yes.
Then you know you're a leader. And I understand people would always want to perform when they were Amos on his boat because the way he conducted himself and the way he carried himself. So, well, he would have been the fourth one to pass on. And then the 11 that still remain living amongst us, of course, Captain Anthony Allens would be the most senior person on the vessel other than Amos Roll at the time because he was the XO. He was only about 21, but he was the XO. And today he's not doing too well, but I'm sure you know him just as well as I do, or even better, because he and I worked together. I was his XO at one point, and he and I are very close friends, and all the rest of that. So I say to Anthony Allens, continue to dwell and be strong, and I know you're having your challenges, Anthony, but just keep pressing on, my friend. Keep pressing on, because you made of some strong stuff. Yeah. And then the stronger one himself, Peterson James.
That's a strong one right there.
That's a strong one. Now, what could we say about Peterson James's performance when that incident took place?
You see, in that situation, right?
Right.
Like I say, a lot of Peterson James were the boarding party members.
Oh, so he went with
two boarding party.
Because he had two vessels, yeah.
Yeah, two vessels, right?
So he wasn't even on the Flamingo when they
happened. And that's why I keep telling people sometimes I could tell you what I saw.
Yeah,
from
what you saw.
On the boat.
Right.
Looking toward that and what's happening.
Right.
I could tell you what I see.
Yeah, well, that's what
as I said, getting tear up and shoot up and bang up and all that, right?
Right.
But in all honesty, right, Peterson James was one of those who he held as a fort.
Yes.
And he stayed fort.
So he tried to keep everything moving. He kept everything motivated, and he was strong in the whole process.
Right.
Right. So, and that's the way he always was, because he worked directly with me in admins. He was the when I was the voice loop. And I can tell you, Peterson James was not an easy
I can tell you some things after that happened to him while he was an admin, right?
Right.
But that's all.
Okay.
But he
was steadfast and strong.
Yes.
He was one of the strong ones. He kept everybody else's confidence going.
When I almost reached the boat, and Obi pulled off with the boat, I go on behind Obi.
You mean the dinghy, the dory?
Yeah, I almost swam 2 laps. I almost gone back to Flamingo.
So when you saw Obi take off from the captured craft to pick up people in the water, you was calling behind him because you was almost there.
I almost there, and I call him, but he can hear me because the engine.
Right.
And I
but you was in the water, swimming in the water. He passed you. He passed from around the other side of the boat.
Yeah, but I was when he left. I was on this side. He was on that side.
Okay.
And I panicked and I started to go behind him.
Because he was tired.
I almost gone back to Flamingo.
That's how far. And then you had to turn back and
I
swim.
turned back. He can give me and all that. I
So
turned
you
back.
still
and
had
I
to swim to the
went.
captured graph.
I going back to graph. I was from here, probably 10, 15 yards.
And,
I can make it.
And you was almost ready to give up.
I give up.
So who rescued you?
You nobody rescue
So
me.
you just keep moving toward the boat.
I just keep going, and then
But you didn't think you would have made
my squad mate Trevor Sahn said,
Mm-hmm.
he told Peter and James, say, see Blue drowning.
Yeah, okay.
So he threw the life jacket to me.
Okay. Who Peterson James did.
Mm-hmm.
And they pulled you in.
No, I grab it.
Uh-huh.
When I hook it, I hook it too much because I didn't let it open up.
Right.
And then I got started rolling down under the water, man. I let that go, so that ain't happening.
Yeah.
So when I came up, my surfer said, look at that. I wasn't even checking with that life jacket no more.
Mm-hmm. You would make it.
I look at that, and I start. I got to go.
Yeah, you start.
I reach maybe 5 feet from the craft. Passenger grab me by the little skimpy pants I used to give you, what you call it. and he grabbed me.
Yeah.
He put me on board. Man, look here.
Wow.
I stayed there for busy about an hour and a half trying to catch my breath.
So you almost drowned in the process?
I wouldn't say drowned.
Well, I mean, he was challenged.
I was tired. Yeah, I was tired.
Yeah, he was very fatigued because you got swimming behind the boat.
No, see, because when I first left.
Yeah.
When I first left Flamingo,
Mm-hmm.
right? When I first left Flamingo, I jump over and I started to swim.
Yeah, and what happened?
I started to swim. Then Dusty passed me because if Dusty didn't go overboard, I don't think a lot of us would make it.
Oh, Dusty would encourage you all. He tell you all up in the water.
No.
Or after you all see him,
No.
you all realize you gotta go.
When he passed me, I say, Dusty, I grab Dusty.
You grab on them.
I grab on this Dusty going down.
With you? Holding them?
Black water bay.
Wow. Yeah, that's the ocean you in. That's right.
He keep going down. I couldn't even see my hand holding on Dusty.
Wow. That's how dark the water was.
That's how dark it was.
Okay.
So when I left, when I let him go,
Mm-hmm.
he came up. I know if I go on now, but okay, when we saw first,
Yeah.
Dusty say, swim, Blue, swim.
Right. He encouraging you now.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I go on behind Dusty.
Right.
Swim. I say, wait. I see, because how rough the water was. One time you see the boat, next time you don't see it.
Oh, the water's choppy.
It was choppy.
I thought it was calm.
No, man, them fellas was flying low, you know.
Right. Oh, they made the water. Yeah, that's right. The
They
planes
made-
caused
they
the
made
water to
it
get
rough,
choppy.
right?
Yeah, that's right. The vibration and
so-
the pressure from the plane, yeah.
And then let Dusty go. Dusty come up, we blow up. He say, swim, Blue, swim. I heard Williams in the back of me.
What is Edward Williams?
Yeah.
Right.
I look at him. I said, boy, swim, Williams, swim. I tell him what Dusty tell me.
Yeah, you
and I
try to
go
encourage
behind-
him now.
I go
Yeah.
behind Dusty.
Wow.
I say, boy, I see the boat 1 minute. I don't see the boat.
Yeah.
I say, hold on. Let me take my time.
Start dog battling.
I start doing it. As soon as I stop,
Mm-hmm.
and they do like that, to pull it
Your bullet going right over your shoulder,
right over my shoulder.
through the water. So you almost got shot.
If I was doing that,
You would have got shoot.
that was gone.
Wow.
This arm was gone.
Yeah.
So
So it's a good thing you use breaststroking and not
I stopped going
freestyling.
behind. I stopped going behind them
Yeah.
like that.
And the bullet came right in front of your shoulder.
I tell you,
Wow.
I only see bubbles going on.
Right.
So when I stopped that, and I say, before that, I told Williams to swim,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Williams, I hear him no more because I trying to penetrate.
Yeah, and then
Go,
and then,
let's
and then
go.
play the bullets in the water too.
Yes,
They
look,
shooting.
man, I ain't tell you what like.
Mm-hmm.
My honest belief,
Mm-hmm.
what happened? If I that come that close to me,
Yeah, some people
Williams
think about
get
that.
hit.
Yeah.
Tucker was right there.
Oh, he's ahead of you.
And Tucker to the boat before I leave the boat.
Wow.
Tucker to the captain crowd before I leave the boat.
Okay.
And that's why I say today, somebody of the captured craft who saw some Tucker was too close.
Yeah. Wow.
Tucker get hit. Farrington and Village Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get hit.
Right. You get grace.
I get grace. While Spook was still on the boat, he got grace because he still have the coverall.
Right. So Gregory Curry was grazed while he was on the boat.
On Flamingo.
So they were shooting. They hit you with the rockets first, and they come shooting even on the boat after that. Okay, just bullets.
See, remember something. Those 20 millimeter have four different calibers.
Yes, they do.
They have the piercing one, the explosive one,
the tips,
and the thing, right?
Mm-hmm. So you believe they were guns all the way through?
I was standing by the David, and when they hit here, when they tear up the deck,
so bullets was going through the deck.
Yeah, when they tear up the David,
right?
You know, take the David was right.
Yeah.
I was standing near that, and that's why I was picking out metal of my scalp for months.
So some of the metal of the David got
on your skin. I was standing near it.
Right. Okay, right? Wow. That's even before you made an attempt to get off the boat.
The
Flamingo.
After that, I was shedding clothes.
Yeah, you had to.
I was shedding clothes because I was looking at the distance to get there.
You realize you had to get off the Flamingo.
See, William's coverall was tight. Because he just come with training, but he was a thick fella.
Right.
My one was baggy.
Right.
So I just...
You shared that.
I shared that.
You ain't get swim in that.
No, I ain't get swim in that.
Okay. Wow. So you would have been... Were you and Gregory Curry in the same entry? Because he would be the next person on the list.
Gregory Curry is...
he used to be a police. He come from Police Marines.
Police Marines.
Yeah. So he was there from day one.
Yeah, but I knew him long before that.
Oh, but he played softball too, eh?
Baseball. We played baseball,
Okay,
softball together from the way back then.
But yeah, so he would have, all of y'all was having challenges when this incident was happening. So you say he got grace as well.
Man, I don't know if the skin got touched, right?
Yeah.
But when I say, captain say abandon ship.
Right.
And when they run back out there, all you can see is where the bullet was touching this coverall.
Oh, the bullet went through his coverall.
It hit him.
But it went through his coverall.
Yeah, there was a touch in his coverall.
Okay, wow.
And I picked him up and said, Greg.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay. So wow. And then we had the household name, Denzel Clark. You would have known him at the time as well? You would have known him good?
Long before that.
Okay, so...
let's come up together. But Denzel Clark...
He was in your entry too?
No,
also?
He's
police marine. Right.
Denzel was Denzel was one of those Borden parties.
Oh, so he went with Obi Neely and them with the Borden party.
Yeah. Peterson James had one.
Right.
And Denzel had one.
Okay.
You see, so that's how they go. Yeah,
that's the two captured craft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so he, when the boat got hit, he would have been on the captured craft.
Yeah, they was on the captured craft.
And Trevor Sands, T. Sands he was your squaddy, eh?
My squad mate. Okay. He was a squad. He was on one of the captured craft.
Oh, he was also on the captured craft.
Yes.
Okay. John Wallace, where was he? But
he was a captured craft too.
Okay, he was part of the Borden party.
Yeah.
Okay, we getting to know. And Whitfield was part of the Borden party.
Yes.
And Willard Sanders was on board. He was the cook, so he's on board. But this around dinner time, eh? This incident happened around dinner time.
See, before dinner time, when we done captured those boats, okay, Tucker to stop one of them with the bullet, and that one was dead.
Stop one of. You
mean to kill the
dismantle the vessel? Yeah,
he killed the
craft.
engine, right?
Right.
He killed the engine, and they had to take everybody off that one and bring on the next one.
Okay.
The one who was running.
Right.
And
they did that before the attack? When they moved the people of one captured craft to the next, and that's before the attack?
No, that's before the attack.
Okay.
But then they flew over the first time.
Right.
They flew over the first time, and they flew very low.
But they didn't fire?
They didn't fire. They do some blanks.
Okay.
They do some blanks, and I was on the stern. I was watching them.
Yeah.
Right? They stopped, but the last blank or whatever stopped by about 20, 40 yards off the
vessel.
Off the vessel, the stern of the boat.
Yeah.
But we already take everybody off the
small
disabled
one and put them on the other one.
So we're getting ready to tie up
and leave.
Follow.
Right.
But during that time, we ate some dinner. But Billy Sanders cooked. Right?
Yeah.
As soon as you didn't get rid of that, but I don't think it was 15 minutes. Then they come back talking nothing.
They got firing.
They hit the, you know how Maritime Flamingo situated. And I don't know if people realize it, military people don't realize, but every country would have a waspatonicraft boat. They have a manual.
Right.
Every country that
they built a boat for.
They built it for. So they know automatically where the most important places is.
Yeah, okay.
The radio room.
Yeah. And the engine room.
The engine room and the switchboard.
Right. Oh yes, radio.
So when they hit the radio room, then they got the galley, the galley's right there. They hit the switchboard.
Right. On the bridge,
Once they hit the switchboard,
no more communication.
That's why I tell you, when I was going into the engine room, got the switchboard right there.
Right.
I couldn't get in there because the electrical smoke and everything was coming out.
Oh yeah,
I don't know why. I don't know why.
All the chemical from the board.
Yeah, I don't know why it's going down there any damn how.
You just was getting down.
I just was going down. Probably shut off the engine. I don't know.
So somebody stopped you from going. Or the smoke.
No,
that chemical stopped.
Yeah, that's when I came back. When I closed the door, and that's when Tucker said, the captain said, abandon ship.
Oh, that's when you got the message to abandon ship.
Yeah.
And that's when everybody else was saying.
I was actually on watch then.
Right. So you was going to check your engines.
I know, get the chip, honestly.
Okay, so and then that's when you all started to go in the water.
Well, we didn't really go in the water, but like you say, then
because the boat would have been starting to be on fire, eh?
And from Image Road point of view, upstairs, I didn't see up there because Tucker, Starb, he ran from up there.
Oh, okay. He came from up in the bridge area.
Yeah, and he came down and he said, Captain said, abandon ship.
Okay.
Right? Cladwell.
Right.
I think he was the radio man.
He was the radio man, that's
correct. He came up. Sanders was in the galley.
So he came out.
But like I said, me and Starbuck coming in and out.
Right. He was coming
That's
out.
the last time I saw Starbuck.
Right.
When he tell me and Buck coming in and out, he said, Captain said, abandon ship.
Right. Wow.
Right? I saw when Sanders passed me. I didn't see when Cladwell passed me.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
But those guys was gone.
They was in the water, yeah.
They was gone.
They only had to hear the captain say abandon ship.
David Tucker, he never come now. He dived off the bow section where I never saw.
Who, David Tucker?
David Tucker. He was the gunner.
You think he went to go to the 20 millimeter?
No. When they say abandon ship, he was gone. You see?
In the water? He
came off the bow section.
Oh, he came from that way and then he go on in the water, yeah.
Yeah, he dived off the bow section.
Oh, so he didn't come to the midships to dive. He go straight in the water from the bow.
Where Cladwell and all of them had to come back up from upstairs.
And then go
overboard.
But he just gone straight in the water.
He just gone from the bow.
Straight in the water to what the captured craft. Okay.
That's right. And I tell you, I'm still stunned to the day. Tucker right there.
Right. And didn't make it
and
somehow.
Make it.
So something
that got me punched drunk right up there now.
Yeah. So we talked with everybody so far except A.K. Russell, my good friend. He would have been the only crew member whose name we haven't called yet.
He's one of those who was on the captured craft.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
He's the one on the captured craft that...
Oh, he was with one of the boarding teams?
One of the boarding team.
Okay, cool.
M and AB and all. OB and them.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
So he probably went with Denzel, or either Denzel or James, like you say.
Yeah.
Right.
Either or, but.
But that was quite an experience. I mean, just listening to you, I'm getting little goosebumps because I've been to sea for a long time, as you know. I've done years out there as well,
Yeah.
but never in this kind of condition where you basically your life is threatened and people are dying whether you know it or not, and bullets are flying all over the place, and you're dealing with a military aircraft, not. I mean, we were not trained to deal with anything military. We were trained to patrol, deal with the poachers,
Yes.
the illegal immigrants, and drug smugglers. That's all we were trained to do, right? And in every case, we would overpower them with weaponry.
Yes.
But when if you had a frigate or a destroyer or something, or they with missiles, we don't stand a chance. You imagine an aircraft, a MiG, a Russian MiG, with the kind of speed and acrobats they can do. You were basically a sitting duck, eh?
But sir, let me say this to you. Like I explained to you a little while ago, that you got a 20 millimeter
on the bow, yeah, or on the aircraft.
You got
you got different tips.
You got the same type of weapon. Bullets,
but different tips.
Different tips.
Right.
You got the explosive.
Right.
You got the driller.
The tracer.
And you got all that.
Yeah.
All right. So they know we had the same type of material. But they might have been more powerful.
Well,
so when they came back, they wasn't taking no chances.
No. They probably fly over the first time. That's how we look to see what's going on.
What's going on?
They know they're coming back. But y'all didn't know it was coming back.
They didn't know it.
At least not to do that kind of damage.
You know what I mean, say?
Yeah, wow. So, we are talking maritime people. My guest tonight is none other than EUGENE, former or retired Chief Petty Officer EUGENE Blue Thompson. He's giving us his view of what took place while he was on board the HMBS Flamingo at the time of the destruction by the Cuban MiGs. And we'll move into our second break at this time. So you can just hold on as we get it together.
At One-on-One Pharmacy, our friendly staff is ready to serve you. Visit us today for all your prescription and over-the-counter needs at our East Street South or Charles Saunders Highway locations. We're open Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and from 9 to 4 on Sundays. In a rush? Send your refill scripts online at oneononepharmacy.com or ask about our convenient pickup service. One-on-One Pharmacy, providing personal health care with people at heart. At Bahamas Maritime Connection Limited, we offer first-class maritime security services throughout the Bahamas and the wider Caribbean. As experts in maritime security, we specialize in production of ISPS assessments and plans, verification audits, certified familiarization training, and port security consultancy, just to name a few. Our services also include provision of a security force to maintain all required ISPS facility security compliance. For all your maritime security needs, visit us today in Nassau at our East Street South location or in Freeport in the Kipling Building. Call us at 392-3515 or follow us on all social media platforms. Bahamas Maritime Connection, your leader in maritime security. Let's help you make the connection.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, then I'll watch them roll away watching the tide roll away. Just sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. I left my home in Georgia, headed for the Frisco Bay. I've had nothing to live for. Look like nothing's gonna come my way. So I'm just gonna sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Look like nothing's gonna change. Everything still remains the same.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Maritime Matters. I am your host, Captain Glenn Bain, and we're about to open the lines. Again, the numbers to call 326, correction, 8255. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah, the number is 326-8255. So far, we've had my esteemed guest, Brother EUGENE Thompson. We call him Blue. Everybody know him as Blue, because Blue is the name for people who know him well. He has enlightened us as to what took place from his bird's eye view on board the HMBS Flamingo during that fatal attack. So what I want to do at this point, I just want to go over again the details of the HMBS Flamingo, when she was built, how she ended up where she was. So the keel of the Marlin and the Flamingo were laid side by side sometime during the year 1977. Remember, the Marlin and the Flamingo are identical ships. And of course, you would realize that the names Marlin and Flamingo would have come from our coat of arms, where on one side you would have the Marlin, on the other side you'll have the Flamingo. That's where those names came from. And those ships were laid side by side. The keel of the ship, again, is the metal or the chunk of steel that the ship sits on whenever you take it out of the water and rest it on the ground. She will sit on the keel. So that thick piece in the middle that runs from bow to stern would be the keel. They were laid in 1977. And a year later, during May of 1978, the vessels were delivered. In other words, the governor of the Bahamas was able to say, okay, the vessel is finished. We have checked it out. We now pay you and own the vessel. That's how that works. And Vosper Thornycroft would have been the institution that built those and many other naval ships in the world. The selected crew were a combination of veteran police marine officers and a few good men that formed the genesis of what we now know as the Royal Bahamas Defence Force. The ship workup sessions were undertaken in the waters of England prior to engaging the ensuing maiden voyages from England to the Bahamas. Both the Flamingo and the Marlin would have actually been driven by officers and crew from South England to New Providence. Took a couple of weeks, but it was done. About 2 years following delivery, only 2 years, the Flamingo was only 2 years old when she got bombed. The Flamingo was destroyed by Cuban MiG fighter jets approximately 2 miles off Key Santo Domingo on the southwestern tip of the Columbus Banks. During the bombing, 4 of the 19 crew members were killed. Some of the survivors were also scarred and grazed by missiles and bullets from the gunshot firing as they scrambled to survive the swim from the sinking Flamingo to the arrested Cuban fishing vessel. All of the crew and prisoners were taken on board the operational fishing boat, as the other fishing boat, now dismantled, was abandoned in the process. Under the cover of darkness, the fishing boat with all personnel in darkened ship mode navigated its way from the Key Santo Domingo area to the southern coast of Ragged Island. About 2 hours and some 6 miles north of Key Santo Domingo, whilst en route to Ragged Island, the crew witnessed a barrage of star shells. These were behind them, and they lit up Key Santo Domingo and the surrounding area like daylight. Why? Because they were trying to find that fishing boat with the remaining members of the Flamingo crew and the 8 fishermen. Why they wanted to find that? Because they wanted to destroy them, because they know if you destroy them, nobody could talk what happened. Fortunately, due to the vigilance of Amos Roll and the intuition of Dusty Miller, they were well away from that vicinity. Upon arrival to Ragged Island, about 1:30 the next morning, which would have been Sunday morning, Mother's Day, all personnel disembarked and made their way to Duncan Town. But they made it all the way to Duncan Town because they had 2 Ragged Island men on board. That was Leo Kirby and John Wallace. They were from Ragged Island, so they knew the track road that would take them from the southern side of the island to the town, where they got a hold of the police, and they were able to relay a message to the police headquarters by way of high-frequency radios. So around 0900, which is 9 o'clock a.m., a DC-3 arrived at Ragged Island to transport the Flamingo's crew and the prisoners to Nassau. On board that DC-3 at the time were the Commissioner of Police and the Commodore of Defense Force. At the time, the Commodore would have been William Swindley. Commissioner at the time, I think, would have been Sir Thompson, or if it wasn't him, it would have been It would have been Paul Thompson. No, Paul Thompson was not commissioner; he was assistant commissioner. Yeah, so I think it was either Sir Lachel or Gerald Bartlett. Gerald Bartlett would have taken over from Sir Lachel.
Paul Thompson.
Okay. Or Paul Thompson came on board the aircraft?
Came
okay, he came. Okay, very good. It was Paul Thompson. Whoa, wow. We need to get Paul Thompson on the show. He's still around. I mean, he's still sane. He's still very, very astute. Soon thereafter, the MiG fighter jets returned, along with a helicopter and a military transport carrier aircraft with numerous heavily armored gunmen. The Cuban military contingent kept the Bahamian officials from boarding their designated plane for over 3 hours. And only after an American military F-14 jet circled Ragged Island, the Cuban transport aircraft left the airstrip and allowed freedom of movement by the Bahamians. So the 15 crew members and 8 prisoners were then transported to Nassau. So that's the way that one happened. And that fatal voyage, if we can give you some details. That fatal voyage, when the Flamingo, as my guest was saying, they had to basically garner the crew from all over the place because the ship had just came in a day or two before time to go right back out. So their crew were off. So they couldn't find all their crew, so they had to make up crew, and they was just grabbing people from wherever they could find them to send them out to sea. So they departed the Coral Harbor base at 1400 around 2 p.m. on that Thursday, which would be the 8th of May, 1980. The first stop would have been Green Key, which is usually a stop where you catch your fish and prepare yourself for that voyage down south. And so they basically spent Thursday night at Green Key. Very early the next morning, they proceeded and spent the second night at Gwincho's Key. That would have been Friday night. Then, when they left Gwincho's Key, they would have passed by Key Lobos on Saturday morning. They sighted 2 Cuban fishing vessels headed back home, but they didn't bother to pursue them because they were already well away from the key. And the captain, Amos Roll, decided, look, we wouldn't chase them. And so they went directly to Ragged Island. So it would appear that these vessels were advised that a patrol boat was heading their way, since they were always in departure mode whenever the Flamingo arrived the area. Because, fishing boats don't just get up and go. It take a while to get those dinghies or the water and before they could actually be. So somebody must have given them some warning that a patrol boat was headed their way. So upon anchoring off Ragged Island, the captain, Amos Roll, decided that, hey, we're not going ashore here anymore. Let's go. We're going to go check Key Santo Domingo and come back. Upon approaching Key Santo Domingo, they met the vessels departing the area again. The Cuban fishing vessels were actually departing. So they intercepted these two. And in order to stop any of them, they had to dismantle the engine by shooting at the engine of one of them, dismantling that engine and causing that. And then, as a result, the other one stopped. So, again, while they were running, they had no regard for a patrol boat telling them stop or trying to stop them. They were just doing what they want to do and they ain't checking. So they were abducted and they were starting to be taken in tow. All of the men were taken off the dismantled vessel that got hit and put on the one that was still operational. And they were getting ready, because right after dinner, everybody now getting ready to make that journey to bring this arrested craft in to Nassau. So what happened? Flamingo was bombarded and destroyed shortly after this. 4 men were killed in the process, and the other 15 were in the water scrambling for their lives. And we say, what those men had to go through. And I have one of them here in my presence, and I say we have to compensate these people. They need reparations. I say compensation now. Or does the family of these soldiers need to sue the government of the Bahamas for compensation? Shouldn't have to come to that. What they went through, no other Bahamian could ever dream of. What they went through, no other Bahamian will ever go through. I say at least $1 million for the family of any government employee murdered whilst in the line of duty. We got policemen. Some of them get shot while they're chasing prisoners. Some of them die and crash chasing prisoners. And what happened to their family? They get the little national insurance money like everybody else, and the kids have to come out of private school because that salary is no longer coming. And no, we need to fix this, people. Royal Bahamas Defense Force personnel at sea, they face all kind of challenges. If they die while they're trying to fight for the integrity of our country, what happens to their children? What happens to their family? What happened? Again, they get the national insurance, couple dollars from national insurance for the funeral like everybody else, and everything else stops. Yes, if they're married, maybe the wife will get salary for a year like everybody else. So what happens while these people are putting their life on the line? Yes, they sign up for that, but they didn't sign up to say if I die, everybody suffers. Prison officers, they die during the course of their duty as well. In certain situations, they deal with prisoners. Customs officers, immigration officers, healthcare workers. What happens? The country doesn't owe them anything if they die in the line of their duty. I say $1 million minimum. $1 million for any person that causes the Bahamas flag to raise in the eyes of the world. That only happens at Olympic level. During the Olympics, if you win a gold medal and that flag is raising and the people of the Bahamas is watching, we all get goose pimples. We all are proud. And then you got some who never causes the flag to raise, but they give their whole life and they're all trying to do it. So anybody who could make that flag raise, I say at least $1 million for every single occasion. So yes, we owe some people some money. And we got some more to go, eh? I say $3 million for any person that faces unfair attack from another country military power. Unless, of course, they are equally equipped to combat such a force. In other words, if we had air-to-surface missiles on a frigate and an aircraft come, we have anti-aircraft missiles that are computerized, hey, we good. But if you're on a patrol boat and you don't have any kind of computerized gunnery, missiles, or anything to defend yourself from an air attack or even a surface attack, and you are slaughtered, I say your family should get at least $3 million because you didn't even have a fighting chance. I say $5 million for each of the family of the 4 men that were slaughtered during peacetime. So for the family of any person slaughtered by enemy military attack during peacetime without being trained and equipped to fairly defend himself, I say $5 million. And I say that without hesitation. And I say that because that's only a small amount we're asking, you know. People need to understand what happened in the situation. They need to understand the fact that not only were these people involved not given any compensation or reparation, they were not even given counseling. They were not given any kind of, we could do something for you later. It's like they were a problem. Let me ask my guests, Brother Blue, were y'all given anybody counsel y'all or attempted to talk to y'all about this incident?
We never had any counseling, no therapy, no nothing. Only counseling or therapy that I got, you know, I was a type of person I easy to talk to, and if people ask me, especially on the ballpark, they ask me what happened, I tell them what I saw.
Right,
and that's my only therapy.
Just by letting it out.
Just letting it out.
Right.
And yes, later I find out, because I had a good friend who had a problem, and he said when he went to therapy, he just had to speak us what he know and all that.
Let it out.
And I said, all right. So therapy is only what you know and all that to get it off your chest.
Try release, yeah.
Yeah, just release it.
Okay.
So I look at that in terms of my therapy.
Right.
And then my next section was that where I used to do auto mechanic, then my good friend Lawrence Pratt, shoot again.
Right.
He get me back involved with cars. Then
right. So that's like a therapy for you.
Yeah. Then
Paul, I see you on the line. We'll be with you in 1 minute.
Brad Smith, my good buddy.
Right, Brad, yeah.
He started to come and take me back out to the ballpark.
Right, to get your mind back into something, yeah. So you stop going to the ballpark? When this happened?
That.
Wow.
Stop bonding with cars.
Wow, you stopped mechanic work?
Yes, I just stopped that, man. Pratt brought me back in. And Brad brought me back in and carried me to the ballpark.
Wow. Boy, I didn't see now. See, things like that. Let me just see with this caller. Caller, you reached Maritime Matters. Thank you so much for calling.
Yes. Good night, Captain Glendale and your esteemed Mr. Eugene. Eugene Blue Thompson?
That is correct, Miss Veronique. That is correct. You have it right on point. How are you, ma'am?
Veronique Johnson, the original. First, let me give thanks to the Almighty God, through Jesus Christ of Nazareth, and the Holy Spirit that envelops us here in this divine destination called the Bahamas. And also, good night to my mortal boss and his 2 prime ministers from one law office that shall be a part of this biblical discipline resolve. And also, good night to King Charles III. He's Bahamian too, and he's Queen of Consort.
Yeah, now, Miss Veronique, I want to know if those prime ministers and Prince Charles did anything for these men that went through all the suffering.
Hold on now. And we will say the mother of the nation, Her Excellency for life, Dame Margaret Finley, because under the Sir Lyndon Findling, all of this investigation started. Everything shall be in order. Mr. Eugene Mr. Eugene Thompson, you used to live on top of Mr. Duffy at building, right? On Shirley and Mackey Street.
She thinking about the next
long time ago.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that was you?
Yes. You, my cousin, you are my distant cousin. I keep that as a secret. Joan and Georgie and Judy.
You're right. You're correct, madam.
Yes, well, this is why all the more now you will get your due. You will get your due, and I will not be repetitious on this. And my moral boss, former Prime Minister, Ruben Alexander Ingham, and only Jesus Christ of Nazareth will get between us. He shall lead the charge when I update him with everything, and this shall be resolved amicably.
We're looking for 3 million. We're looking for 3 million now, Ms. Johnson.
Who are suffering because that is why I'm on the airwaves. They have issues with the national insurance, and Mrs. Heather Maynard, I need your call because I stand in the gap for all of them. Okay, our people are not supposed to be suffering, Captain Bain, and God provide this. And if it doesn't go to, if anything should happen, God forbid, to any of the survivors of the Defense Force, it goes to the estate. It must. Okay, so there are people, the people can be comforted.
Thank you very much.
Keep long, but let somebody else go on. This Barry Johnson, I joined the police force, even, you know, Ashley Edwards.
Yes, my good cousin.
426-7762.
Appreciate it very much, ma'am. Thank you very much.
God bless you. All right.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Take care of yourself.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, that's the great Miss Veronique. She calls my show. She's my favorite caller. She always listens in, and I thank her for that. And when I mentioned your name last week,
she know my whole family.
She said to me, she asked me if you see, I couldn't answer her because I don't know if that was you. But I'm glad you was able to be here and you was able to answer her. And I told her last week we'll have you on the show, so she'll be able to call in and ask you that tonight.
Yeah, that's Jolly.
Yeah, she's your distant family as well.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Very good. But you know, she's also vying for you gentlemen to get your due compensation.
Yes.
And I'll be pushing forever until that happens. I mean. I could have been involved in a situation like that because I've been faced with situations where I had close calls on the Defense Force, and we've lost a lot of men on Defense Force during situations where they would have lost their life. But the families don't get anything. As a matter of fact, my understanding is when you guys retire, that insurance that they had you in, they drop it.
They drop it. They want you to increase it.
But I'm saying they don't continue paying it once you retire.
No.
Yeah, but that's when you need it. You don't think that's when they really should? That should be a compensation for you working and putting your life on the line for this country definitely. All those years. You retire after 25, 30, 40, whatever years. They had you insured all that time. And then when you leave, your salary is lower. They want you to now take that on yourself. No, man, something wrong with that. We need to put up a protest against that because that is not right.
Man, that's
not right. For whether you be police, whether you be Defense Force, whether you be prison officers, customs, immigration, nurses, it is not right. As people get older, they need that insurance.
Definitely.
So this is not. I'm sorry. This is not the time to do that.
No.
Yeah. So
too much thing, man.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Well, we got 4 minutes left, Brother Blue. So you see how quick our time gone. I was saying to you, this show goes too quickly.
Yeah, I understand.
Right? That. So what I'll ask you at this point is if you have anything that we didn't cover, either pertaining to that incident or subsequent to that incident, or any shout out you want to give to anybody. I know Dusty was your friend, Shooter Can was your good friend.
Yeah, all them, you know.
I don't know if you have anybody that still remain in the Defense Force because you've been gone now how many years?
13.
Oh, you was off the base 13 years?
Yeah.
Okay, so most of the people who you would have been shoulder to shoulder with have left already.
Yeah, they're gone.
Okay, you know? So let's take this opportunity to say hello to all the crew members that still survive, who were with you on board during that ordeal, and who have suffered along with you and with everybody else, not only during that time but all these years after. And were there any compensation given to you guys at all? Because I've heard arguments from people saying that, all those fellas were paid off. They were all given. I mean, other than the 4, we know that the 4 got $100,000 each.
They're supposed to get $200,000.
But they only got $100,000.
According from it was American Life.
I thought the Cubans paid the money.
No, American Life paid to them. You ain't waiting on no 7 years. They can get paid for their money.
Of course.
I don't know if it's $100,000. I don't know, but it was insured. It was insured to American Life.
So the insurance, the Cubans paid the money though. The insurance didn't pay that.
According to records, they supposed to get paid $100,000 from them.
In addition to what the Cuban government paid?
Yeah, the Cubans paid it. And
but you don't know if they got it.
It was made statement that they will get paid from
the
America. That you ain't no
Cuban government.
You ain't no 100,000. You ain't no 7 years.
Right, because they miss it as far as it goes.
That's America life here.
Right.
They got paid, right? But something gone wrong. And
didn't happen. So what about you? Did you receive any compensation or reparation, or any kind of money toward the suffering you would have gone through?
Probably some clothes that I might have lost on the boat.
So no funding, no anything.
No.
And that's why we got to fight for this $3 million, Blue.
A couple of clothes I lost on the boat. That's all.
Yeah, but you was faced with trauma. You was faced with your life at risk. Yeah. I mean, in a way that it never should be.
I was injured also, so.
You got injured during the process?
Yes, I got injured.
Okay, well, I want to personally thank you for coming out and expressing your views of that incident, because a lot of people don't know the details. A lot of people, they don't understand that we have people among us like yourself who have actually lived that horror.
I know a lot of people they sitting in my yard doing what they doing, right?
Yeah, but they don't know what they don't know.
They don't know who I am.
They don't know from whence you came.
You
need to explain that to them.
Like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I say to you, thank you for serving this country. Thank you for being able to sustain yourself after going through such trauma. Thank you. Thank you for blessing Maritime Matters show with your knowledge and your experience and giving us this bird's eye view.
Because I always, I'm still involved with partaking in teaching and all that.
Right, because you did a stint of teaching at the prison. I remember you used to go to the prison to do less training.
I'm still involved with education.
Okay.
In terms of the high school kids auto mechanics.
Right. Excellent.
I'm still involved with that.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so I thank you very much, my friend. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are ending our show as we reach the 2100 hour, 9 p.m. And I'd just like to mention my sponsors again. Bahamas Maritime Connection and One-on-One Pharmacy in the third location now in Freeport, Island Care Pharmacy. And I thank you for listening as always. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I say to you, Maritime Matters, out.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, then I'll watch them roll away again. Yeah. I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Just sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. I left my home in Georgia, headed for the Frisco Bay. I've had nothing to live for, look like nothing's gonna come my way, so I'm just gonna sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Look like nothing's gonna change, everything still remains the same. I can't do what 10 people tell me to do, so I guess I'll remain the
very quick message to all the other radio stations out there.